Where did it go? Ooh. One second. What's happening? We are live. Tell a friend to tell a friend, please. We are doing a lesson today. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace. I give some people some time. I want to keep it short, though. Don't want to keep it too long. And I got to play some video games with my little one. But we're going to get into some things. I'll play a little piece. Something I just made yesterday. Nice song, you know what I'm talking about? Let's get it up. Hey, oh yeah, give it a bill. Oh yeah, give me the city check. Give me the city check. Now, no famous heroes or villains, time to choose your path. But destiny's involved when you add it up, just do the math. I'm talking Asiatic science and alchemy, reflecting on it after sunsets from the balcony. Then I look to the stars, man, I hope that you're proud of me. And on earth, I just be laughing like, why was they doubting me? How could they possibly think that I ain't one of the greats? Just play the records, got no time for debate. No longer waiting, we creating our future, let that simmer. Yeah, we growing food, we preparing for dinner. We showing love, spring, summer, falling all through the winter. And we compete with self, so we always the winners. Ooh, wait. I like that one, man. We compete with self. We always compete with self. So we always the winner. Oh my God. Come on, man. Ah, just had to get the mood right. Feeling good. We showing love. Spring, summer, all through the winter. Yes. Hey, Cam Bam. You ready? Yeah. Come on, come say the prayer with me. Come around this way. Peace. Have my son say the prayer with us real quick.
Cam Solo.
All right, you ready?
But thank you for all the likes and 11 people. I hope we can get more likes and subscribers.
Don't have to worry about that, okay? Okay, you ready for the prayer?
Yeah.
Allah.
Allah.
The Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
Mother of love.
Mother of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice. Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
And
our salvation. By night and by day. Through our holy prophet. Noble. True. Ali. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Say peace.
Peace.
Thanks, man.
Oh, make sure to follow his TikTok, which I don't know.
You got something in your hair. Get it out. Oh, about to sneeze myself. All right, go. Thanks, buddy. Close your door.
Your mask, did you drink?
In a little bit, all right?
Oh, yeah, my milk.
Go, man. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
All right. I'll give it another little bit. Matter of fact, let me share one more, please. And then we'll get started. Alrighty. So we got some things to get to. That's what I want to start off with. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start off with that real quick. We're gonna get to the Quran. we're going to do some teaching, but I wanted to start off with this real quick. This is coming from the Moorish literature, and it says, Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I'm sorry. My name is Rami Salam Mel, by the way. I apologize. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tapping in. We're about to talk about a lot of things. But first, I want to read the words of Noble Drew Ali, and then we'll get into the topics. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. We are for peace and not destruction. I'm going to say that one more time. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. This is key. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. Very key. We're going to come back to that. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button and cease wearing their turban and fez and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people for their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. Boy, he let us know, man. Let us know. I'm about to pull something up real quick, and then I'm going to continue. It's very key. Put that on mute. Yeah. Boom. Put that on mute. It's very key. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. Not by Rami, not by the Kudjos and the Jahmals, the ones that want to create their own movement and do their own thing, do it their way. Not the laws, not obeying their laws. Obey the laws that was laid down by Noble Drew Ali. That's our prophet. I wanted to make that clear. And again, this is coming from Moorish literature. I'm sorry that my packet is falling apart, man, and I don't have a cover, but it's called Moorish literature. Another piece of Moorish literature I'll read real quick. The Quran questions for Moorish Americans. And I wanted to read a couple questions. What is the devil sometimes called? Question 65. The lower self. Question 66. How many selves are there? 2. Name them. Question 67. Higher self and lower self. So, we're going to get to this in a moment, the Quran, but I just want to show you on the back, it says to know yourself. And when you open it up in the front, it says know thyself. But understand it, when it says know thyself, it means to know the higher self and the lower self, because there's 2 selves. The lower self is sometimes called the devil. I'm going to continue real quick. Question 70. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life, and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Question 73. What does the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. So that's coming out of the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, or the 101 questionnaires, what it's sometimes called. And so, before I get to anything else further, yeah, and I see a couple questions in the chat. One question, sorry. Further, any more questions? I'm gonna answer in a second. Any more questions? Just let me know your nationality and your name, and like where you from. You know what I mean? Or like where you at, what territory you dig. Thank you. The question: how do you define dirty Moors? That's a good question, Zaneta. In my opinion, because Noble Drali spoke on dirty Moors, so I will refer to that first. But in my opinion, I see dirty Moors as those who have knowledge of Noble Drali in the Quran and our teachings and our principles, and are consciously and intentionally going against those principles, but fronting and presenting themselves as if they are for those principles. I think that would be the best way I could kind of define generally a dirty Moor. Yeah. But let's speak about the Kudjos and the Jahmals, the people that are doing their own thing. And let me get some water real quick. Just gonna be honest with you guys. Some of you may be aware, some of you may not, but right now, Kudjo is putting things on social media to intentionally try to antagonize me. And one of them is very personal. It's about Malcolm X's grandson. I don't really appreciate it. I'm doing my best to be loving. The Kudjos and the Jahmals, they are upset with me because I am speaking the truth. It's not what I feel, it's not my opinion, it's not my belief. It's not what Rami thinks. It's what Noble Drali said. And they're trying their best to deflect away from what Noble Drali said, to make it about Rami and Kudjo, Rami and Jahmal. But it's not about me. It's about Noble Drali's teachings and instructions, and those who are claiming to be followers or claiming to honor Noble Drali, but are not, and are actually misleading our people. But it's not enough just for me to say it, because Noble Drali taught us that man knows nothing by being told. So, before we even get to the Quran, we're going to close out with this. But before we get to that, I want to get... Oh, sorry. Are we still good? We still good? Okay, I think we're still good. Cool. Before we get to the Quran, I want to read something that Noble Drali said. Some things Noble Drali said. We're going back to the Moorish literature. It's under the section number 40, hold session of the Moorish science body, but it's under the subsection to make changes. I'm going to read just a little bit before it. Because of certain incidents in some of the branch temples previous to the convention, far-reaching changes for the betterment of the administrative affairs, very key, the administrative affairs of the organization will be announced at the convention. This is the Moorish National Convention that they held every year in October. Will be announced at the convention by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and enforced by the Supreme Grand Council in future to the laws. It is reported that the Prophet, the supreme executive authority, will appoint a Supreme Grand Council, of which he will be the Supreme Grand Chairman. The Supreme Grand Council will have power and duty. The council will have the power and the duty to control and supervise all the affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And they will be the sole judge of what constitutes conduct injurious to the order, peace, interest, or welfare of the organization, or at variance with its constitution and bylaws, also the rules and regulations made by the Prophet, and shall be the sole judge, the Supreme Grand Council shall be the sole judge of the sufficiency of the evidence by which such conduct is shown. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is being, he's being congratulated. But I wanted to read that specifically because that's breaking down the mechanics of the Supreme Grand Council. And I want you to go read this for yourself. It's in the Moorish literature. It's under a section called To Make Changes. And if you look up my other previous videos on the Supreme Grand Council, I put links so you can read it for yourself. Don't believe me. It's what Noble Drew Ali said. They have the power and the duty to control and supervise all the affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Supreme Grand Council. I'm going to get back to that in a moment. Kudjos just put up a post saying that everyone knows about the Supreme Grand Council and that it's dirty Moors in the temple and da-da-da-da-da. For one, he put up a photo or an image of the members of the Supreme Grand Council when Noble Drew Ali was around in 1928, 1929-ish. What does that have to do with right now? Nothing. But you see, that was intentional. To mislead people. To deflect. Deflect from what, Rami? Deflect from the fact that Kudjos has been teaching and doing this Moorish thing for about 12 years or so. Thousands of videos. Thousands upon thousands of followers. And I want to ask you a question. How many videos have you seen? How many videos can you find from the Canaanland Moors from Kudjos titled Supreme Grand Council? Don't worry, I'll wait. You can look it up. Now, this council, again, has the power and the duty to supervise and control all the affairs of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That sounds important to me. It was said by Noble Drew Ali. But it's not just what I'm saying. I want to continue to go back to what Noble Drew Ali said. It's very important we go to what Noble Drew Ali said because he is the prophet. This one is number 7. A temple tax necessary. Convention votes. Again, the National Convention. The convention votes unanimously tax paid monthly. Because of the fact that the expense of the operation of the temple is increasing so fast, that it was found necessary to vote on a tax to the prophet to carry on the work. This idea was concurred with or by the Supreme Grand Council. I want to just pause for a moment so that you can understand what's going on. The operations of the temple on a national scale, it was booming so much that they said, you know what, we got to have a tax. Noble Ali suggested this, put this up, and told the Supreme Grand Council, hey, we need a tax. The Supreme Grand Council agreed. This is government. This is how it operates. This is administrative affairs. This is not the religious, this is not the divine aspect of it. This is the national side. This is the side that's been lacking for so long. Everybody's trying to figure out, how do we do things? How is this, what? This Supreme Grand Council, why I keep stressing this so much, this is the key to it. But I don't want you to believe me. Let me continue reading. This idea was concurred with by the Supreme Grand Council. This act is so arranged so that it will not be a burden to any of the temples. But the prophet is very emphatic. The prophet is very emphatic that it shall not be ignored. The temple tax shall not be ignored. What does emphatic mean? Because I don't quite know. I'm sorry. I'm about to get right back to it. Emphatic. Emphatic, showing or giving emphasis, expressing something forcibly and clearly. Definite and clear. Okay. 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 Got it. But the prophet is very emphatic that the temple tax shall not be ignored. The expense of the operation has heretofore been taken care with funds received from the manufacturing. Okay, boom. So he's saying, so this is why. He breaks it down, says, boom, we need a tax. I need to talk to the Supreme Court Council. They agreed. Says this should not be ignored. Law. Then he's breaking down why, though. Not just because him saying he needs a tax. This is the, man, listen. The expense of the operation of the temples has hereto, therefore, like in the past, been taken care of with funds received from the manufacturing department. So the expenses of the operation of the temples was taken care of by the manufacturing department. And it was found that it was a burden on that department. It's like, family, we can't cover everybody. Come on now, we need a little help. Hence, the tax was necessary. Makes sense, man. This is not something super complicated, super sophisticated. It makes sense, man. Let me continue. The tax is 25 cents. The tax is a quarter per month, man. A quarter. Do you got a quarter? The tax is 25 cents per month per capita. This will mean that the numerical strength of the temple will bear the proper share of the responsibility of the operation. This per capita tax is intended to supply all members alike, or to apply to all members alike, governors and grand sheiks included. So it's saying everybody in the respective temple got to pay the tax, high or low. Don't matter if you're grand sheik, grand chair, super grand sheik, super hyper, ultra instinct grand sheik, you got to pay your quarter, baby. And this is $3. I was doing the math. I was like, man, how much is that a year? Boom, it's $3, man. $3 for the year. Pay your taxes, dog. Come on, I put in on it. I got something for you. I'm playing. I'm trying to do some humor because I'm a little frustrated, but walk with me. The governor or officer in charge of each temple, here we go now, Here we go now. And it's emphatic that this is not to be ignored. Prophet said this again, not Rami. Just clarifying. Let's listen. The governor or officer in charge of each temple will cause a report to be rendered to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of what? The Supreme Grand Council. So to recap, the prophet said we got a tax going. Everybody got to pay a quarter a month, $3 a year. The report of each temple is supposed to be sent to the Supreme Grand Business Manager, and he works in the Supreme Grand Council. Do you see how this works? Again, this is government. This is law. This is how the operation, not the divine, not the religious worshiping side, because it's two sides. Must be two sides. I'm sorry. Let me focus. Here and it now it breaks down what's supposed to be in the report. The prophet's so cold, man. Listen, the governor or officer in charge of each temple will cause a report to be rendered, a report to be made to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of the Supreme Grand Council. Gave the address 3140 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, which will specify the following: the number of adepts, the number of members, number of new members taken in each month, or those who join after the rendition of the last report. 25 cents must accompany the name of each. Simple. Such members as the representation tax. The per capita tax collection begins November 1st, 1928. All concerns will save themselves penalized if they render their reports promptly and specifically, because otherwise it will necessitate a representative calling on such delinquent temples and auditing their books, which expense will be borne by the temple. All governors and other officers will be held responsible for the representation tax and report by order of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. This is why I continue to stress the importance of the Supreme Grand Council. It is necessary for us to function properly as a nation of people, as the Moor Science Temple of America. And I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay very close attention to the people who claim to follow the prophet. And just observe their actions and their words. Are they teaching about the Supreme Grand Council and its importance? Are they talking about the active members, not the members in 1928, as Kudjos did? Are they talking about the members currently? I don't even want you to, I'm not going to answer that. I want you to find that answer. Pay attention. It shows itself. It's very clear. Do we have any questions? $3 was a lot back then. You know what? On that note, children of the light, on that note, I'm going to look into, like inflation to see how much would a quarter back then be worth now, and then figure out how much that would be in 2020 money. Children of the light, I don't mean to be rude. I just want you to know the truth. You are, I believe, a sincere brother, and if you're seeking truth, there's none outside of Yahshua, Jesus, of the Holy Scriptures. That's a beautiful statement. Beautiful statement. Which brings me to this right here. This book was brought by Noble Drew Ali. I don't know if you know, Children of the Light. Noble Drew Ali was a prophet that was sent, a universal prophet sent to us all. to uplift fallen humanity, but specifically to the so-called blacks and Negroes, to teach us who we are, that we are not those labels, that we're actually Moorish Americans. And he did so with this book here. And this book is mainly the genealogy of Jesus, or Yahshua, or Yehoshua, or Isa. And so, yes, I feel you on that. I feel you. And I was reading this earlier just for myself, you know, and it was really stressing the importance of why is Jesus so like looked at? Like, what is so special? Is because he is the first and only so far out of humanity, at least according to the records, this perfected man that transmuted his body to I forget the term they use, but it's like spirit divine, human divine, something like that. I apologize, I should get it, but I'm trying to keep it short. But anyways, I dig that. I think everybody should read this book because it has important information about the one we know as Jesus. Right now, I wanted to get into two pieces. Yes. Praise Allah. Two pieces. The first one is from chapter 32. It's Holy Instructions from the Prophet. The chapter is Charity. And I'm gonna just read the first 6. Happy is the man who hath sown in his breast the seeds of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. I need to look up benevolent. From the fountain of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't like to read it and not know it when I'm reading, especially when I'm kind of live. I feel like that's irresponsible. You know what I mean? Being lazy. And when I was reading in my head, it's like, don't be lazy, bro. Beneficent. Beneficent? Yeah. How you spell that? Benevolence. What am I saying? What? Benevolence, excuse me. Benevolence. Benevolence. Benefit. Benevolent. Oh, okay, boom. Well-meaning and kind. Well-meaning and kindly. Serving a charitable rather than a profit-making purpose. Well-wishing. Got it. Okay, well-meaning and kindly. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. I just had to make sure that I knew what I was reading. Happy is the man who hath sown in his breast the seeds of well-being. Okay, got it. Benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. From the fountain of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness. The stream shall overflow for the benefit of mankind. He assists the poor in their trouble. He rejoiced in furthering the prosperity of all men. He censureth not his neighbor. He believeth not the tales of envy and malevolence. That's a hard word for me. Neither repeateth their slanders. I'll work on that. He forgiveth the injuries of men. He wipeth them from his remembrance. So when somebody do you wrong, just forget about it. Don't even worry about it. Revenge and malice have no place in his heart. Oh, man. For evil he returned not evil. He hateth not even his own enemies, but requite their injustice with a friendly admonition. Now, that's a tough one, man. I ain't saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying this is what we are told to do. And then the other one, and that just made me kind of reflect on why Jesus was like really that dude, because he was really that dude. While we're speaking on this, because I've heard some people reference the oral statements and prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. which, if you don't know, is basically a collection of statements from Moors who was around the time of the Prophet and are saying what he said. So it'll say, Sister Bay of Temple number 32 said the Prophet told us, and Brother L from Temple number 5 out of Mission. I don't really know if it's Mission, but I'm saying this is what the collection is if you don't know. And they always refer to this. Well, the Prophet said that he had a tank and da 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 da. Again, now this is what people said, but if we're going on that, there's a story in there that talks about the Prophet being chased around the temple by one of the Moors with a knife, and other Moors watched him while the dude chased him around. The question I have for y'all: how come the Prophet didn't kill him? How come the Prophet didn't shoot him? He's the Prophet, right? Ooh. How come the Prophet was running away? You mean to tell me, oh, are you calling the Prophet a coward? You saying Prophet Noble Ali was scary? Is that what you're saying? Now we in a little bit of a pickle, a little bit of a quagmire. Nah, it wasn't that he was scary. It's understanding that when you harm another man, you do a wrong to Allah. Noble Ali didn't want to do a harm to another man because he understands doing wrong to that man, doing harm to that man. Even if that man is doing wrong, it's still doing a wrong to Allah. Now that's where it gets tough. That's where it gets tough. It's not easy. Truly being a Moorish American, truly living by love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's not easy. Loving instead of hating. So don't let people trick you into thinking that's being a coward. We'll close out with this one. It's from the chapter Know Thyself. We're back into the Quran. This is chapter 36. Man. All right. I'm going to read from line 5. It is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knoweth not the worm shall eat him, that the worm shall eat him. The ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. But something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay higher than all is the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? The body remained perfect after it is fled, therefore it is no part of the body. It is immaterial, therefore it is eternal. It is free to act, therefore it is accountable for its actions. Knoweth the ass the use of food because his teeth mow down on the herbage? Or standeth the crocodile erect, although his backbone is as straight as thine? Allah formed thee as he formed these, as the animals. After them all were thou created. Superiority and command were given thee over all, and in his own breath did he communicate to thee the principle of knowledge, Allah. Here we are. Know thyself in the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself is within thee. A part of Allah. We are not our own gods, as some of the Jahmals and certain people may try to get you to believe. There's only one Allah. Please understand that. But a part of Allah himself is within thee. So remember thy own dignity, nor dare to descend to evil or meanness. Come on, man. Come on, man. You have to understand, that's the higher self. That is the higher self. That is the Allah in man. So you have to remember that. Keep your dignity. Brother Kudjo, I'm talking to you, brother. Keep your dignity, your higher self. Don't descend to your lower self, to the meanness. As Moorish Americans, we have to represent. We have to be the example for so-called blacks, Negroes, colors, African Americans to follow, representing love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And also the whole world, because we're here to uplift fallen humanity. I think that is all I had to say in terms of reading. Did anybody have any more questions? Yes. Children, does Noble Ali teach that Yahshua was crucified and risen on the third day? Yes. In fact, the chapter is, it actually breaks down him being crucified, him transmuting, or like, I don't exactly know what to call it, but shifting to this other place and like dropping jewels and then coming back and waking up and being like, yo, I'm back. What's happening? Not in those words, obviously, but the chapter is, boom, chapter XVI 16. 16, that's Pallades' final efforts to release Jesus when he's like pleading with people and everything. Then he gets crucified. Chapter 17, Jesus appears fully materialized before Apollo and the Silent Brotherhood in Greece. Yeah, boom. So then he bounced to Greece, and then appears in Rome, and then appears in a temple in Egypt. So he was like, and then the resurrection is chapter 18, the resurrection of Jesus. And it talks about, you know, the Romans being at the seal and the whole nine. And then chapter 19, he appears fully materialized, and now he's in India, and he's dropping jewels in India. And then that's the end of pretty much the end of the story. So please check this book out. You can look it up. I'll put the link in the description after this video is over, so you can just read it online. Let me see here. Tariq Bey, peace. Nationality, if we could. Children of the light, if you could, your nationality. And if you don't know your nationality, that's cool too. You just could say, I don't know. I don't know my nationality. You know, let's be honest. Why are you not a member of a temple in Cali? Tariq Bey, well, what happened is that I joined this temple in Chicago because I was doing my best to get as close to the original temple as possible. But then the temple that I joined wasn't trying to be active in the way that I was thinking. So I kept reading what to do in the Quran, and it says you can open a subordinate temple. So that's when I created my own online temple to start. But then as things started going, I stumbled into the Supreme Grand Council issue, and I had to pause because I was like, this is why I can't get clear answers on things. And I pretty much have been speaking out to people and doing my best to get people's attention on the Supreme Grand Council since about 2015. So yeah, all mixed up is cool, but you know, the reason, if you may not have seen the previous, if you haven't seen the previous video, the reason I'm asking about nationality is because I want to encourage us all to start thinking in that way, and to encourage people from other nations to be involved as well, and to let us know that, you know, that they're tuned in, that they're supportive, so that we can understand that it's really about humanity. Um, Appreciate it. You know, you can't judge a book by its cover, brother. You can't. you know, because if I judge so-called black people by their name or their appellation, you can say they're a European or an Irish person. You dig what I'm saying? If I'm just reading off the screen, that's why I'm asking, with all respect. But thank you, Moorish American brother, or I'm not, yeah, brother, Tariq. Oh, and before I close out, I wanted to leave you guys with this question. Um, I was just trying to double check. Yeah, I don't see any other questions. Um, I wanted to leave you with a question to think for yourself, to ponder on. Because oftentimes when I speak about loving instead of hating and us not needing guns and, you know, that Drew Ali taught us that we don't even need a pocket knife. Um, Oftentimes the Kudjos and the Jahmals, out of fear, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, I believe out of fear, their response is, well, what are you gonna do when somebody comes to rape and murder your family and they got a gun to your head? What are you gonna do then? And when I hear that response, just to the idea or to my position of saying that we need to love instead of hate, that we don't need weapons, we don't need guns, we don't need to kill people. When I get that response, all I hear is the fear. But I was really reflecting on it, and I was working to get to the crux of what is really being asked, because you know all of that is like you know what I mean. But what is really being asked, and at the core of it, I feel it is this, and this is what I wanted to pose back to you watching. Make a choice. Would you rather, or are you willing to for your flesh, for this body, for this life, or die for Allah? Now that is a interesting question, and I would like for you to answer. Let me know what you think. Think about it. You ain't got to answer right now, but really think about it. Because oftentimes people say, you got to protect yourself. Well, what self are you protecting? Are you protecting your higher self, the Allah that's within you? Are you protecting the flesh, this body that's going to pass away at some point? Are you too afraid of the next man and the weapons formed against you? That you don't have faith that Allah is your protector, as the prayer said earlier? It's something to think about. It's something to truly think about, man. So with that, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And even those that are saying and doing things to try to be mean and to hurt my feelings, it's all love. It's all love. Allah is truly the best of planners, man. The fight is not with me, man. The fight is with yourself. It's with the devil within yourself, as the Quran teaches us. Thank you. Peace. Much love.